County and its sheriff's department now facing a federal civil rights investigation.
This comes months after the prosecution of 5 former Rankin County deputies known as the Goon Squad. 3 on Your Side's Nathan Lee joins us now to tell you what will be examined.
The Civil Rights Division's Special Litigation Section and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Mississippi will conduct this investigation. According to the Department of Justice, it will seek to determine whether the Rankin County Sheriff's Department engages in patterns or practices that violate the Constitution and federal law. The Department of Justice's investigation came about after obtaining more details and information about the conduct in Rankin County and its Sheriff's Department. The investigation will evaluate all types of force used by deputies in Rankin County, including deadly force. It will also determine if the department engages in unlawful stops, searches, and arrests, and whether the department conducts discriminatory policing in violation of the 14th Amendment, Title VI, and the Safe Streets Act. While this is separate from the prosecutions of the deputies convicted in the assault of Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, they want to determine if this type of behavior is instilled within the department.
Put simply, the concerns about the Rankin County Sheriff's Department did not end with the demise of the Goon Squad. There is no question that individual officers must be held accountable when they violate the law.
Rankin County officials had pledged their cooperation in this investigation. U.S. Attorney Todd G. hopes this will turn a page for Rankin County and the entire state.
We do not have to accept the old hatreds and abuse of the past. And we do not have to accept the false claim that safety comes at the price of illegal force and abuse of power.
Malik Shabazz, the attorney for Jenkins and Parker, released a statement saying in part, this is a first critical step in cleaning up the Sheriff's Department and holding Rankin County legally accountable for the years of constitutional violations against its citizenry. If more misconduct is found in this investigation, the Justice Department and the county will attempt to reach an agreement on remedies. If an agreement is not reached, the Justice Department may bring a civil lawsuit to stop the violations. Now, for those of you who believe you have experienced any civil rights violations from the Rankin County Sheriff's Department laid out in this story, the DOJ says you can report your incident and you can find where to report in this story on WLBT.com. Nathan Lee, 3 on Your Side.